Hi, Brad Harrison here with Wheatstone. Today we're going to go through the simple process of setting up this Audioarts DMX console. This one is virgin right out of the box. First, let's make sure we have all the parts. Once unpacked, you're going to find a DMX control surface. You'll also find a DMX engine. This is the 1RU box that has all the mixing horsepower for the console as well as basic audio and logic I/O. Depending on the size of your console, you might also find a Razor. That's a networked audio logic expansion unit that's available in several configurations. You'll also need some Cat 6 cables to connect everything together. You'll also need power cords for the engine and the Razor if you have one, the DC power cable for the DMX control surface, and a number 1 Phillips screwdriver. We only need the screwdriver for removing the top rear cover of the control surface. We do that by taking out 3 small flathead Phillips screws and then lifting the cover gently away from the top of the meter bridge. Here, I've moved the surface to the edge of the table so we can get to the cable entry holes underneath. I'm going to bring one end of the DC power cable, doesn't matter which end, through the hole and insert it gently into the connector on the circuit board. Then I'll tighten the locking collar. The locking collar prevents the connector from being pulled out accidentally. Now I'll bring the RJ45 cable in the same way. I'll make sure it's oriented with the tab towards me, line it up carefully, and snap it into place. Then we'll just slip the cover back into place and reinsert the screws. And now I've turned the surface and engine around so we can prepare to make the connections between the two. Finding the connector on the back of the engine marked Power Out 16 volts DC, we'll slide the connector from the control surface into that connector, then tighten the collar. Again, the locking collar prevents the power cable from being accidentally disconnected. Now we'll take the Cat 6 cable we plugged inside the rear of the control surface and connect it to the number 1 port of the engine's built-in Ethernet switch. This particular console came with a Razor for additional I/O. To connect that into the system, we'll place one end of the Cat 6 cable into the number 2 port of the engine's built-in switch and connect the other end to the Ethernet port on the Razor. The final connection is probably already in place from the factory, but just in case, it's from port 5 on the internal switch to the Ethernet port on the engine. Everything is back in place now and we're ready to fire it up. There are no power switches on the gear, so all we have to do is connect the power cord to the engine and another power cord to the Razor. And after a few moments, we can see that everything is waking up. We see 3 green lights on the engine, which is what we should see on a standalone console. The Razor's display is alive and showing us the proper information. And the control surface is alive with proper information showing in the meter bridge and displays.